Hello, my name is Todd Mount. I'm the current chair of the Board of Trustees of the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation. Thank you for your interest in our report to the community, our first ever video report to the community. We're really sorry we couldn't see you in person today. Thank you for your service and thank you for your support. I'd like to acknowledge my fellow board members and thank them so much for their leadership and their support and their service to our organization and to our community. First, our Vice Chair, Susan Shoemate, our Secretary and our longtime Investment Committee Chair, Bob Orders, Ted Armbrecht III, longtime Investment Committee member and our newest board member, Will Carter, Dr. Jason Castle, Georgette George, Dickinson Gould, our immediate past chair, Charlie Loeb, our Distributions Committee Chair, which is probably one of, if not the funnest and best position to have on the board, Monica Jansen. Monica has served as our Distributions Committee Chair since I first became involved in the organization several years ago. And she'll be rolling off the board at the end of the year. And Monica, we're going to very much miss you. Sean Mayberry, Deborah Sullivan, Sandy Thomas. Also, during 2019, one of our great board members moved back to New Orleans, where she's from. And we just want to say we appreciate how much energy and thoughtfulness Dr. Michelle Easton brought to her service as a board member, as well as her service as program chair. Michelle, we miss you. And anytime you want to come back, we'd be glad to have you. Please keep in touch. We also lost one of our great friends and leaders. Nell Chilton. Nell had a long time involvement, not only in this great community, but in this organization. She was a long-time committee member, a long-time board member. She served as president, or chair, of the board. Her contributions of time and thoughtfulness and generosity are too much to count. Among so many things she accomplished for our organization is that she presided over our transition to a new model of grant making. And she did that through the use of community meetings, board member retreats, a community foundation consultant, and a lot of elbow grease, talking, community building, and energy. So our current constitution, the way that we do things, is owed in large part to Nell's leadership, as well as the leadership of the remaining board members at that time. So her impact on our organization and on our community as a whole will be felt for years to come. Her intellect was rivaled only by her empathy. She was as effective at long-term, high-level planning as she was at hands-on, one-on-one interaction. She was a lion, and she was a mama bear. And Nell, we miss you, and we love you, and we thank you. Two of the biggest changes that we've worked on in 2019 and are following up on now are our trust conversion process. I spoke about that a little bit last year, and I'll try not to bore you too much with it, but I'm going to explain what's happened, as well as our new physical space. So in relation to the trust conversion process, the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation was formed in the 1960s as a community foundation. As the law relating to such charitable organizations changed over time, a second organization was created in the 1980s called TGKVF, Inc. The difference was it was a corporation that could hold money on its own, as opposed to a community foundation whose money was kept in trust and serviced by financial institutions. A third development in the law happened in recent years, and that permitted converting the trust monies that were held under the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation into corporate assets. Now, if you're not asleep yet, I'll tell you why that's important. And it's because banks were the trustees of that money. And as such, they had much more management obligations and duties, leading to much higher trust fees than what a bank would charge for custodial accounts. So the opportunity to convert the initial foundation trust funds into corporate funds is something that will free up a lot of money through savings from bank management fees. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. And so I'd like to really compliment our investment committee on this and our attorneys at Bowles Rice, Melody Simpson and her team. They did phenomenal work. And particularly Bob Orders did a lot of the heavy oaring on this. But our investment consultant has informed us that that change will result in a savings of $350,000 approximately in fees in 1 year. And that will continue every year going forward. So that's the kind of impact that has. So while it may make your eyes gloss over to think about it to start with, what we think about is the amazing impact, additional impact in the community that savings is going to permit our organization to have. So thanks again to the investment committee, Bob Orders, and the legal team. You've done great work. Kristen Mounts, great work. Thank you. The other development of 2019 is after a long and exhaustive search of appropriate space to move the foundation's physical location, we have entered into a long-term lease with the DuPont Hotel LLC. The DuPont Hotel LLC is redeveloping the space at 170 Summer Street, and most of you will know that as the old B&B Loans building. So now we're into 2020, and mainly we're talking about 2019, but I can say right now, even under the circumstances of the pandemic, construction is moving along on an appropriate and rapid pace. And what I hope is next year when Susan Shoemate is here giving this address, she will be able to report to you that we've moved successfully into our new space, that everything went well, and invite you to come by and see us. So thank you, all of you, once again, for your time, for your support, for your commitment, not only to our organization, but to all the work that goes into making this community a great one to live in. Thank you.